In school days, they will tell you what meat would give to you, the proteins that you can get from meat.
Right,
The nutrients, the vitamins you get from this product you're eating.
It's true.
Now, how do I get the conviction that if I decide not to take meat and I'm eating tofu, I still have the protein?
The protein. That's a question that a lot of people ask. How do vegetarians get their protein?
Yes.
But anything that's alive has protein. Nothing can exist without protein. You, me, plants, animals, what have you. So when you're dealing with meat, you're dealing with a third class protein. Okay. They would tell you different in school. But what does the cow eat? Right. Okay, what does the goat eat?
Yeah.
You see? What is the chicken taking? It's taking grains and what have you. So you're getting the protein through a third class as opposed to just going straight to the source.
Okay.
So with a lot of the plants, we have beans and nuts and seeds that have like a higher source of protein. So the soybean has one of the higher sources of protein. It can be comparable to the protein that's in meat. The difference is protein that would absorb in the body. It's protein that the body recognizes. It's not something that's foreign and has to figure out, what to do. A lot of times when people are eating heavy meats, they might go to the doctor and just get maybe a urine test, and they would say, oh, you have a lot of protein in your urine. It's because the protein doesn't know where to go, because it's not something that's, part of our body. We're supposed to take in whole foods, plant foods, naturally.
It's a brain that runs all of us. I cannot imagine eating and not even taking a bone. And then, so when I eat tofu, I eat vegetables and there is no bone. How do you encourage somebody that forget about that one? I want to forget about.
Well, see, the thing is, what we come to find, the reason why the Vegan All-Star is why we have a lot of success, because our food tastes well. It really has a good flavor. So we find that as long as the food tastes good, people will eat. Yeah. They won't worry about what they're missing. They're looking at what they have right then and how delicious it is. So, for example, my parents are 75. They've been vegetarians for 43 years. Okay? And they ate all the meat, everything. Pork, chicken, everything, the bones and all of that. But when they realized that this was a healthier way to go, part of the reason why they became very strict was when I was younger, at the age of 2, I was diagnosed with chronic bronchitis. Okay. So in order for them to be able to help me, they had to change the whole household. So from there, it's different reasons, like I said, people become vegetarians. Sometimes they just want to prevent disease. Sometimes people just don't like meat. And then other times it's just, a health reasons, that make you go vegetarian, which is my reason.
You can listen. When you listen to information, you can see, they will tell you vegetarians, or if you eat well, it takes care of heart diseases, it takes care of osteoporosis, it takes care of, you have a list, cancer, but the point is that, how do you quickly realize, okay, diagnosed with a level of cancer, I move to vegetarian. What happens? Does it suggest any cure, or what happens to me?
That's just part of it, because we are dealing holistically. We have to deal with the mind, the body, and the spirit. So physically, of course, changing your diet, taking herbal medicine as opposed to allopathic. Go natural first before you decide to go allopathic or Western medicine. And what happens is, you start to feel better immediately, just after a couple of days of just eliminating meat. Not necessarily doing anything different, but just eliminating meat. You see your energy level is higher. You see your mind is clearer. Your skin starts to clear. And then you start to become more brilliant. And people will start to notice, like, oh, what are you doing? There's something different about what you're doing. So you do start feeling the difference, right away. So the healing takes place there. But when you're dealing with diseases like so-called terminal diseases or incurable diseases, which there's a cure for all disease. If there's a problem, there's always an answer. There's not one can exist without the other. So when you're dealing with those type of diseases, because you hear cancer, automatically people start thinking death. They start planning their, writing their wills, and really it's a matter of the mind healing you or killing you. So when a doctor tells a person that they have cancer and they haven't had any symptoms, they just going for a regular checkup, all of a sudden they become symptomatic. I had a friend who actually passed out in the parking lot. He was just going for a regular checkup. He had hepatitis, They diagnosed him with hepatitis, told him that he's going to have to be on this medicine for the rest of his life. He doesn't know how he got it or what have you. And as soon as he got to the parking lot, he just passed out. But he was feeling fine, before he came.
Before he went to the
hospital. So you have to know, if you know that there's a cure, if you believe in the Most High, not believe, if you know the Most High, if you know God, then you don't worry about something not being curable. So that mental part and the spiritual part has to be in place. Not just the physical. The eating is one thing, but we have to make sure we get our rest.
How do we square the two images? We're looking at eliminating meat, and there are people in meat business. We're looking at eating vegetables, and there are people in the market gardening. And so we kill one industry and resurrect one industry.
Well, we don't necessarily have to kill the industry. Yes. We can give them the alternative as well.
To stop railing the animals and move it to market.
Start selling tofu. But it's also about balance. It's not, because meat has been around for so long and people have been taking it and it's been part of a lot of cultures. It's not going to be something that people just stop overnight. And what we're doing, and we're not trying to push vegetarianism. That's a choice that you make. We just want to give people choices. So a lot of times I tell my clients, just don't worry about not eating meat. Make sure you're including vegetables, including fruit, include your water. Take coconut water. Make sure you're eating like nuts. And just adding to what they're doing. So that way, eventually, they start to do less meat, less fried foods, less sugary food, less dairy. And they start to eat more healthy. And then when they start seeing the difference, eventually, they start to change over.
So if there is a mother at home now that had 2 kids and decides, and listening to you, and decides, okay, I'm going to cut down on meat or eliminate meat entirely and move to products like tofu and vegetables, would you say, Mom, go ahead?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And you'll see a difference in your children just in 1 week. Even just in school, the teachers would even make a comment. Oh, Johnny, he sits still in school today. He hasn't been, misbehaving or what have you. And even with my children, if I see that I have to talk to them too much, or if I have to, repeating myself over and over, or if they're having problems in school, I know it's time for them to detox. It's time for them to cleanse their system. And every time I've done it, it made a big difference. They're more calm, they're more alert, and they're more sharp.